It's Crystal from Adventuring with Crystal. This week, I want to talk about something that I absolutely love when I'm traveling, and that is shopping. And yes, I do love shopping for souvenirs or going to boutiques, but one of the things that I love the most when I go someplace new is to go to historical markets. It is such a cool way to learn about the history of a place by going to the markets where people are selling the goods that they have made for hundreds or thousands of years. They are keeping a tradition alive in these markets. And while I would love to talk about each market individually because there are so many and they are so very cool, what I want to talk about is some ways to really enjoy these markets. So, no matter where you are, if you're in Thailand, which is where I'll be this summer, exploring the floating markets, if you're in Greece, in the Plaka, if you are in Marrakesh in Morocco, or in England or France, wherever you go and you find one of these markets, or if you're planning a trip for these markets in particular, there are a few things that you might want to think about before you go. One is, how will you enjoy it? One way that you can enjoy them is through a private guided tour. Having someone there who is from this place, who understands the culture, who knows the history to be able to guide you through would be so magical and so much fun. I always think that if you can make a connection with someone and then they can help you make a connection to a place, and if they're a tour guide, then it's because they really love this place and love the history and want to share that, then you are going to enjoy it tenfold or more. It is an important way of learning about culture to connect with the people who live in that culture. And it's also really nice to have someone who does know the ins and outs. I know that when I'm shopping in a historical market, I'm a little nervous about the language barrier. I speak just my one language, and I want to go to every historical market all over the world and learn about those cultures, and there's just no way I'm going to speak all of those languages. A guide who knows English is going to be really helpful in making deals and explaining what I'm looking for and explaining the process and helping me barter. And so knowing that and knowing that there is someone there who knows, should I barter? Should I not barter? Should I have money? Should I not have money? Which we'll talk about in just a second. And you also want to make sure that you are doing a little research beforehand, or you can have your travel agent research for you. A lot of these places will have things that you want to know about beforehand, and you might be able to customize a lot of the creations that are being made there. So, knowing that before you go can help you have an idea of what to look for. And a lot of these things are going to be really rare and really interesting. So keep an open mind. They're not going to a historical market to find the general keychains and hats and t-shirts. You're going to find things that are going to be for your home, for your life, for you to wear, that are authentic and historical, that is going to be something that is different and rare. So knowing that and knowing, hey, if you have little kids who aren't going to be interested in this, or you have a spouse who is not interested in this, it may not be the time to go. Get the people together who are going to be really interested in digging in and learning more about what these cultures have to offer through their markets. When you get there, I think it's really important to think about a few things. One is timing. Is it going to be a market that is open only on the weekends, only at night? When we were planning our trip to Thailand, we had to kind of miss out on one of the main markets that I wanted to go to because we weren't going to be there at the right time. And so we're going to another one, but it's not quite the same. So knowing that, you might be able to adjust your plans to make sure that you are there at just the right time. And know also that if it's a market that is food centered, it's typically going to be a morning thing, or know in the evenings, hey, if it's something that is coming in fresh off of the boat or fresh from the farm, they show up at this time so that you can get the best selection that's possible. You'll also want to really know what kind of currency you need. A lot of historical markets may not take credit cards or foreign currency, make sure that you have the local currency. That's also really helpful if you are in a culture that's bartering or if you're just looking for bargains. When we went to Mexico, many of the markets that we went to raised the price if we used our credit card or if we used American dollars. But if we were using pesos, then it was a lot cheaper. So just know that in advance and know what you need and make sure you know how to get it also. You also want to know, how do I engage with these folks? What are the local customs for niceties and politeness? What language do they speak? Should I know a few phrases beforehand to make sure that your translation app on your phone is ready to go? This is also where it's really nice to have a guide, someone that does know all of these things. But you or your travel advisor can look these things up before you go to make sure that you know and you're ready, so you're not blindsided or you don't fall into a snafu or some kind of inadvertent rudeness when you're there. You might want to know if it's authentic or not. There will be lots of places that pop up that say they're selling something that is historical or cultural that may not have actually been there. So do some research, find out, how do I tell if what I'm looking for is actually authentic or not? What are some signs? How do I find out if someone is telling me the truth or not? And make sure that if you're not just going for fun and just to learn, but you're actually there to make a purchase that is either sizable or that is going to have some value down the road, that you're getting the right thing. Before you buy anything, make sure that you know what the customs regulations are. Some countries have limits on what you can take out of the country or even what you can bring in. So if you're shopping someplace and then you're traveling to another location, make sure that it's okay for you to bring that in. You may need to figure out how to get those things shipped back to your home so that you don't run into problems at the airport. And definitely don't take it for granted. There could be size limitations or value limitations, or a lot of places, if it's food related, do not want you to bring that back. And definitely no livestock or animals are going to be allowed through unless you have pre-approval. And those are all, again, things that if you're not wanting to research, working with a travel advisor would really be a great option, because that is our job, is to make sure that you know those things before you go and you're ready. Make sure that while you're out there, you're staying hydrated and you're using sunscreen. I know that sounds crazy, but you don't want to get out into this market and realize, oh my gosh, there's nothing out here for me to eat or drink. I am out in the sun. I am going to pass out. Would be really bad. So make sure that you are taking care of you and you have the things that you need. And then always be really mindful of where you are and where your belongings are, because it is really a good idea to kind of keep your belongings close and make sure you're paying attention. Just a good idea, no matter where you are, to be certain that you are taking care of you and you know what is going on around you at all times. I want you to have a blast. That's why I'm sharing these ideas with you. I really never thought about this before I started traveling to some of these places and realizing that I can really connect to the local culture in a way that I couldn't if I didn't go to where the local culture is. And that's really important. Sometimes we get caught up in what are the main tourist attractions. And I've said and will continue to say that yes, it is wonderful to see the Eiffel Tower, but I also want to go to the vintage Parisian market and see all of the things that are there. And there's like one village in France that does book markets. And so you can go see books from every culture, every language, old books, new books. All of these vendors have their books out. And that is so amazing. And you're going to learn so much. But it's really important to make sure that you understand what you're doing and where you're going and what you're getting into before you get there. So if you have any questions at all, if you'd like someone to help you create an itinerary around these historical markets, give me a call. My numbers are all below. You can subscribe to learn more, and I would love to work with you and connect.